Oh, great. Okay. Hello and welcome to today's meeting of the Finance Committee. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone this meeting is being live streamed to you. And Cheryl just joined us. Meeting is being live streamed to YouTube, and all audio and video is being captured and recorded. In order to participate in today's meeting, please keep your video feed turned on, but leave your microphone muted unless you need to speak. Additionally, because this is a special called meeting of the committee, our discussions today are limited to what is on the agenda. Does anybody have any questions on that? And Heather, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Ben Brandstetter.
Here.
Ms. Kim Hallbauer. Mr. Grant Minix.
Here.
Mr. Richard Nelson. Dr. Robert Satt.
Here.
Ms. Carol Wright.
Here.
Ms. Cheryl Zimmerman.
Here.
Yeah, there she is. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming.
All right. We have a quorum. The meeting minutes from June 9th, 2020 are in your materials. Are there any objections to those as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, all those opposed? And they are approved as distributed. Thank you. At our June 19th meeting, the council took action on the campus tuition and fee proposals for 5 universities and KCTCS. 3 institutions were unable to submit tuition and mandatory fee proposals because their boards had not yet met to review and approve them. Those universities are the University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, and Eastern Kentucky University. In order to finalize those rates before the start of the fall semester, the council moved to delegate the review and approval authority of those universities to the Finance Committee itself. Could we go ahead and have a member of staff present those? Go ahead and walk us through those items, and then we'll just have one motion for all 3 universities. Is what I'm anticipating.
Thank you, Chair Brandstetter. Heather, is my mic unmuted?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Just one other thing, just to remind members of the Finance Committee, on April 24th, the council voted to allow the post-secondary institutions discretion to determine tuition and fee increases for resident undergraduate students for the upcoming academic year as well. And as Chair Brandstetter indicated, the University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, and Eastern Kentucky University are bringing their proposals before the Finance Committee today for your review and approval. As you can see by the slide that Heather has put up, EKU is proposing no increase in either their resident or non-resident tuition and fee rates. The University of Kentucky is proposing a 1% increase in their resident undergraduate rate and a 2% increase in their non-resident undergraduate rate. And then finally, the University of Louisville is proposing a 2% increase for both their resident and non-resident rate. I would like to point out on page 15 in your agenda books, or in your board books, I guess, that the University of Louisville is implementing several significant structural changes to the way they price tuition and fees for undergraduate and graduate students. And you can see the 3 bullets there where they explain those structural changes. First of all, they're eliminating their online price differential. And so what this means going forward, beginning in 2020-21, all undergraduate and graduate students will be paying the same rate for both online courses and in the classroom courses. The other structural change, they're eliminating the additional charge for online courses above load. And as the Finance Committee may remember, several months ago, we brought some information to you about 3 of our institutions, UK, U of L, and Eastern, who were engaging in this practice. And through this structural change, the University of Louisville is eliminating charging both their full-time flat rate and additional online charges for students who are enrolled in both in the classroom instruction and online courses. And as you can see in that third bullet, that this will result in an actual reduction in charge for many students comparing academic year 2021 to the current year. So that's just a little bit of additional detail that's on page 15 in the agenda item for the University of Louisville tuition and fee proposal that I wanted to make you aware of. Does anyone have any questions about the proposed tuition and fee rates from the University of Kentucky, the University of Louisville, or Eastern Kentucky University?
Bill, this is Bob Stat, and I do have a question. Looking over the numbers, everybody, UK, U of L have an increase in tuition, but their overall revenue from tuition is down. Is that due to projected decrease in enrollment?
Yes, that's correct, Dr. Stat. And at the University of Louisville, it's also because even though the sticker price is going up by 2% for both resident and non-resident students, the elimination of that tuition differential between online courses and in the classroom courses, there's a revenue loss associated with that. And then discontinuing that practice of charging above load for students that were already paying the full-time flat rate, who may also be taking some online courses. There's some revenue loss there. Combined, their chief budget officer, Rick Resarek, has indicated that that's about a $7 million revenue loss. And so this 2% increase for U of L is an attempt to make the situation revenue neutral between the current year and next year, not including any projected fall enrollment decline. And
Just because I am U of L and have paid attention to some of it, the tuition, online tuition really gave a great advantage to those departments that were offering it, but did little to help the overall university because most of the excess monies went back to the departments, and we had some departments thriving quite well under it, while others were not doing so. This is probably equalizing the distribution of the funds a little better.
Well, you would know better than I about that. The other thing that the University of Louisville officials anticipate happening because of these structural changes, they believe that students will end up enrolling in more classes because they can pick up an additional online course or two and not be assessed that additional charge above load. And this will help students to be able to graduate in 4 years than would have otherwise been the case had they not implemented these structural changes.
The 15 to finish is in vogue, yes.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Bill, I have a question. With the estimated, I guess, downturn in enrollment for the universities, are any of the other universities looking at making their online charges the same as in-person tuition?
I believe that Eastern Kentucky University is. Sean, you've been having conversations with their chief budget officer. Are you on the line?
I am. Ryan Green is on the line. If you'd like to talk to that, Eastern Kentucky University's chief budget office. My understanding is that for undergraduate traditional students that EKU is no longer going to be charging above load for those courses, and there will be no premium associated with online charges. Ryan, is that correct?
Correct.
You might be muted.
Ryan Green, are you on the call?
Yeah, it's.
Oh, okay.
You're
muted, Ryan.
That's correct.
Okay, he said that's correct. So, yes, Carol, to answer your question, Eastern is another institution that's doing something similar to the University of Louisville.
And just this is Aaron, and just to throw one thing in for EKU2 as an example, they kept every bit of their fees at the same rate. No increase in housing or dining or anything else. So in fact, not only are we looking at lower enrollment, they're also looking at lower revenue based on with them going with a zero tuition, taking the online fee off, and not raising any of their ancillary rates.
Are there any other questions about the proposals from UK, the University of Louisville, or Eastern? Hearing none, Chair Branstetter, President Thompson, staff recommends that the Finance Committee approve the tuition and fee proposals for those three institutions.
Thank you, Bill. Can we have a motion from committee members on this?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Stat, second by Mr. Minnix. Is that correct? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. And thank you everybody for your assistance and input on this today, especially the campuses. That's all we had on today's agenda for a special meeting. Thank you for taking the time this morning so we can meet. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, can I make a quick point before we get off? I had a chance to testify yesterday to the full A&R interim joint committee and to the education committee. Senator Givens and others wanted just to point out how appreciative they were of the council doing what they've done on tuition this year. As you well know, this is the lowest tuition average we've had this century and for many decades. So they pointed that out in the full A&R, and I just wanted to let the Finance Committee know that their appreciation for the actions that we've taken this time. Thank you, sir.
Well, and Chair Branstetter, if I could, I'd like to point out in the 2 years that President Aaron Thompson has been the leader of CPE, the average system-wide increase in tuition and fees has been 1.45 per year. And that for that 2-year period, that's unprecedented over the last 2 decades.
Actually, can I ask another question, possibly of Dr. Payne? Did I read correctly that at least one of the schools is now charging exactly the same in-state rate, regardless of your location, for online courses?
Okay, I'm not sure I understand the question. They're charging the same in-state rate regardless of
whether you're in Illinois, California, whatever, as opposed to a non-resident rate.
Oh, we may have an institution that's doing that. Sean, do you know which institution that is?
I know that online programs often just have one rate. The fully online programs have one rate regardless of residency status, and we're collecting that information and we'll have it available.
I will tell you, since we've set up the memoranda of agreements on the 1.3 out of state, and then if they wanted to go lower, they would write that memoranda of agreement with us. Many of our institutions have flattened out their rates, period. So we may find several institutions that would fall in that category, Dr. Steph.
Yes, and even though those rates have been lowered at 4 or 5 of our institutions for out-of-state students, many of those institutions are still anticipating enrollment declines this coming fall. So this is more or less a function of our institutions trying to get those seats filled.
Okay.
And certainly no in-state students are being displaced because of that those memorandums of agreement.
Right.
All right, thank you, everybody. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, everybody in favor, hit the leave button on your Zoom.
Adios.